One morning you join me at a most amazing event. It's called the Pagani Gathering, and it happens every year. We're in Umbria, and it's when Pagani get together, all owners of Zondas and now Huayras, and we drive on the most fabulous roads you can imagine. We're near Gran Sasso, so we're based around Perugia. And last year the Huayra was present, but it wasn't really for driving. This year's different because in my pocket I have the key. So we're going to go out for a drive in a minute, but I just thought I'd take you around the car. It's been developing. What he's been doing is just sort of change little tweaks here and there. I'm not sure if this actually works, but this is the standard car which is all painted, so there's no bare carbon on show. This is actually the sort of standard spec. But over here we have the spec I imagine most of them come in, and it's just exquisite. Look at this. You end up with, this is called the paint, part carbon. So you have the carbon seals along the bottom, and this beautiful carbon body that half carbon, half paint across the engine cover like that. Just fabulous. Fabulous look. This is chassis number 1. It was actually completed for a German owner last year, and heaven forbid he's already thinking of selling it because the premiums on these cars have just gone mad. But what we really want to know is what it drives like, and that's what we're going to do now. Just an amazing sight every time you get in this thing. You've got to remember, they are bespoke Paganis. So we don't, if you think it's a slightly glitz in here, it's a bit weird with the purple colours, but that's all, you can choose it on there. Whatever colour you want. And the silver you can actually calm down as well. The one behind is a sort of dark titanium, but there's another one I've seen, and yeah, it's got black as an option. I think it's going to look terrific. Anyway, let's go head to the hills. This car, the gearbox is the talking point because it's a single plate clutch, and this particular car has a really long first gear. It does over 60 in first, and I'm told that production cars won't be actually like that. They're going to have shorter gearing, and I think it's really going to help. Now, the one thing on the car is the time it takes to go to reverse, and here we go. There it is. It's just slightly clumsy when you're used to DSG gearboxes, but on the plus side, it's a tiny gearbox, doesn't weigh much, and I can sort of understand why it's done it. Just love this car. It's so different. It's mad playing with these colours. You have anything you want. We'll go a bit of green. I don't know what's best really. Just weird. It's just a light show. It's such an extraordinary car. It's just full of these details that you just never normally see. One of the things that's so different about the Huayra compared to the Zonda is, of course, its engine. And it's going to be a real talking point, the engine, because it's a twin turbocharged 6-litre engine rather than the fabulous 7.3-litre normally aspirated engine of the Zonda that just sounds fabulous. Well, this car moves on, goes to turbocharged, and they're often, I've been asked why they did that. Well, it all comes down to AMG's engine policy. They decided that they would not continue a normal aspirated V12 because they would never meet the emission laws coming up as they expected them to be when Huayra was developing it. So when Huayra, he decided to continue with the AMG relationship, and I have to say, as all Zonda owners, love the relationship with AMG because when the engine is, reliability is a given, incredible character. And it's this sort of mix of Italian beauty with German engineering. It's a fantastic marriage. But the turbocharged engine was a surprise. So this actual engine, I can't believe it, but it's actually unique to Pagani. So it's the tri-sub 6-litre, 730 horsepower, and 1,000 Nm of torque, which is about 25% up on the Zonda. So it's shades, it's the way it deforms, and it's just ballistic. Just dumping the power that torque then. We're in second gear, probably about 60 miles an hour. I can feel the rear wheels spin up. Unbelievable torque. It's the shock of this car that it has this two sides. It sort of feels like a GT car. But then there's this animal side as soon as the revs rise. And I described to friends, it's like a two-wheel drive Veyron. It's the closest I can think of how to condense what this car feels like. Just amazing. That's what's so exciting. Again, it lights up the rear tyres and it does a little squirrel dance as the power goes in. Oh, it's a supercar. Open the windows, yeah, we can't when the camera's attached, but please forgive that. What you hear in the turbos, especially if I use a high gear, you just hear the turbos. Yeah, it's a bumpy road, but you can get the idea. Just from low revs, if I get it right down to about 1,000 RPM, we're in fourth. I've never heard anything like it. It's only really with the windows open you get that terminal. It's close the windows up and then it gets quite relaxed. Criticise British roads for being rough. Italian roads are worse, they're just dreadful. But yet, the ride is exemplary for a car this fast. Just love the character of this car. This mad turbo nutter. When you really are pressing on, you don't feel that sort of weight, that big mass of that V12 and the Zonda behind you. This car just feels central in the middle, right on your side, and it just goads you to sort of keep poking this grizzly bear sort of character, and it's like your best mate. I can't get over it. And the performance is ballistic. They were saying that they the 0 to 100, typical 0 to 100 time that we all want to know, it's around 3 seconds, 3.1. But David was telling me it's only physics getting away. They can't make it any quicker because two-wheel drive, you just can't get a two-wheel drive to beat 3 seconds to 100 clicks. But it's beyond that. It's the way it just monsters big speeds. How fast is this car? Let's just see. We're in first. Hit the throttle. Let's see what happens. Oh, I can't get the grip. can't get a grip on this surface. Oh, what fun. Yesterday it was the Pagani Huayra, today Bugatti Veyron Vitesse, the new 1200 horsepower convertible version of the mighty Veyron. And what a piece of kit it is. I spent the day in it. We've been up in the hills, and just, well, as we experienced with the Super Sport, the handling has just gone up that extra notch. But it's the speed of it, and then with this Vitesse version, there's no roof. And finally you get a car, a Veyron with a voice. This thing, you can't believe the turbo chatter you have from this car. It's the same with the Huayra yesterday. It's the turbos make all the difference in these cars, and you can hear the popping of the wastegate, and with the closed car you never hear it. But with the Vitesse, what's different with this one over the Super Sports is it still has those ears. If you see just poking out the top of the car, they are integral to the safety of the car, because that's where the rollover hoops are in this car. So for crash protection, that they needed to stay. The downside is that they add drag, so the top speed isn't quite so big, but what they do add is just the most amazing noise. As you listen to 4 turbos, probably the biggest in production, 8-litre engine, remember, 1200 horsepower. They're busy turbos, and that's the experience you get from inside the car, and it makes such a difference on the car, because I've always criticised the Veyron for the noise it makes. It's just not really exciting noise. Boy, does it deliver the goods, that engine, but it doesn't sound quite as good if you listen to howling sort of V12s from Ferrari and Enzo. It's the one area of the Veyron that's disappointed, but this one doesn't. But I'll take you around this car. This is two-tone car. In standard spec, one of these is 1.65 million euros. With this blue finish, it's just beautifully done. If you look at the paintwork on it, bare carbon, blue lacquer finish. They're not telling me how much extra it is, but it's a lot. We're probably about 150,000 extras on this. This is probably about a 1.8 million euro car. But what a driving experience this car is. It just delivers this incredible performance. We've just been on a test track and just cracked 330 kilometers an hour. Just a piece of cake. I don't know what that is. It's 200 and something, 220 miles an hour with the roof off. I mean, there's no other car in the world that gets anywhere close. I've done about 190 miles an hour in a convertible before, and you knew about it. This thing, it's one of the best convertibles for sort of the air and the wind going around. It's no problems. Girls are going to like this one. I'm going to give you a tour around the car though. So the idea is with the Grand Sport and this Vitesse, there's going to be 150 open Bugattis. They've already sold 300 coupes. They're all sold out. Final one gets built at the end of 2012. So this is the only model. If you want a Veyron, the only one you can now buy is the open topped. At the moment, there's 51 sold. So that means 99 left to go. And I think when the customers experience this car, there's going to be a lot of the 1000 horsepower Veyron Grand Sport owners who are going to want the Vitesse. It's an epic bit of kit. Infamous parts of the Veyron, of course, its tyres, these specialist Michelin tyres, 365s, and a price to just make your eye water, around 5,000 euros each. I mean, just unreal. At high speed, the engineer was telling me they have a life of about 14 minutes apparently, that Michelin won't guarantee them after 14 minutes running at full speed. But that's fine, because the Vitesse can empty its tanks, they reckon, in about 10 and a half minutes, so you could never actually run at full speed for 14 minutes because you'd be out of fuel. The wing on the back, just amazing. This is in handling mode, so it's right up in the air. It's controlled by these rams here, and the engineer told me, he probably shouldn't have said, but they're actually off a combine harvester is how they do the sensors, how they get the angle, because it's on these little rams here, and they have to measure exactly where that ram is, so that's how they alter it. This is the one area, another area of the Veyron that disappoints. I've never liked looking in the back of this thing. I think for a car that is a 1200 horsepower car, somehow a 1200 horsepower engine should be just an exquisite piece of engineering, but I can't see it in this car, and I think it's one of the reasons why it doesn't really appeal to car enthusiasts, because you can't see this wonderful piece of engineering as you can in other cars like the Enzo or something. You lift the back, it's very obvious where the engine is, but on this one it's all sort of a bit hidden. Just one of the criticisms, but there's so many other things to go with it. It's always a better driver car than you expect. Inside, there we go, beautifully finished. Quite like the blue colouring inside there. It's actually inside the glove boxes as well. New carbon everywhere around here, says Vitesse here. One of the things, there's never enough storage in one of these things. You press, it's because the roof's up. If I press that, that actually opens. That's one bit of storage. But this is quite nice. This is for your iPhone. So if you pull that little tab up, hey presto, that's how you plug in your iPhone. So you get your music and you can charge your phone. Have a look at the boot though. This is why you don't see these cars touring very often. Open the front. And yeah, that's all you get. That little bit holds a little roof spoiler, which I'll show you in a minute, and that bit is your emergency top. But there is nothing, as you can see, no storage. As you can see, no storage whatsoever. Yeah, that spoiler is really clever. Part of the reason it's so good at high speed and no buffeting is because of this. And this is a little spoiler that sits on top. You'd never know it was there because it just looks so natural, but that, combined with that, just means there's just no buffeting. Let's say 220 miles an hour or something, no problem at all. So, that's the Bugatti Vitesse. As far as I'm concerned, the best Veyron of the lot, because finally it's a Vitesse with a feeling of fun about it. With that noise, the performance, it's a mega bit of kit.